Okay, good evening. We're going live on my my wall, and we are coupling up with the RAEL live addiction stories. This is a meeting. Good evening. I will mix it around a bit. Okay.
Definitely.
Yeah, a bit of a joke here, a bit of a joke there, nothing serious. Okay, good evening all. We're going tonight on the RAEL addiction live stories. We'll mix it up with a bit of the current affairs, and normally we from the RAEL live addiction stories we broadcast, if that's the right word, 9 o'clock every evening around the world, and we've got people around the world that tune in, and we try and help people that okay, so I'm not just going to say how's it to everyone, because you'll be mixing with the people that are on RAEL live addiction stories and obviously on my wall. With me is, for those of you who don't know, is the CEO of RAEL, Schüler.
Good evening, everybody.
He's been with me. I've known him for 15 years, and he's been the manager here for a long time, and I appointed him CEO about 2 to 3 months ago, and he runs RAEL, and when I'm here, he still runs RAEL.
RAEL stands for Recovering Addicts Empowering Lives.
Yeah, and I'm sure Lee will put the stuff up later. So welcome to everyone, and obviously with the names going through, we can't welcome everyone personally, which I'd like to. There's a lot of recovering addicts who come on from the watch party from RAEL Addiction Live Stories, people who found their recovery at RAEL, people who are today sober, people that are today productive members of society, and hello, Mrs. Purcell.
That used to be known as the scum of the earth.
Yeah, they did.
Apparently.
Yeah, that's how we were. You know what I mean? Like I think most of you know, a lot of you know, is that, good evening, everyone. Good evening. Is that 16 years ago, just over 16 years ago, I was on a park bench and homeless, faithless. I was a Bergie. Hi, Darlene from Canada. And
Sorry, I just want to cringe
no problem. And by the grace of God, I can sit here tonight and be a owner of a place that attempts to
a lot of healing
empower people. So, okay, we just saw Jasmine and Liga is online. Kinza, there's
Elvis Mashego.
Yeah.
Word
Hi,
is
Elvis.
on. How's it, Word? He's actually a
okay.
family member of
Yeah,
RAEL.
Oor is a family member. We went to Senekal together, Oor, hardcore, a different level with
Good
Rudy.
man.
Okay, so we're not going to greet you all personally. Hi, Natasha from Prague, but when we do see someone from overseas or someone that we think is new, then we will just because it goes like a what do you call it, a hamster on a wheel.
Something like that, yeah.
So Curtin and I have known each other for 15 years. We're both recovering addicts and alcoholics. Michael, I drank, alcohol was my drug of choice. I'll just recap who I am for the people who are coming on who don't know. I was a member of the Narcotic Bureau, the old Sun-Up. I then became a member of the Murder and Robbery Unit. I then mixed with high flyers in gangs. I was the security director of a very large retail store. I've always had a keen interest in politics and activism from my mom's side of the family, and I ended up going to prison. And after that, I didn't pay a restaurant bill, and my mother wouldn't bail me out, so I stayed there for 9 months. And then I went to the streets for 2 years, and I lived on the streets for 2 years with nothing, not even teeth in my mouth. The teeth in my mouth are false. And thank you, Nadia, for the speech in Senekal. And on the 28th of June 2005, I went out into the garage with Marius Dalwa, who had been with our family for
Was a lovely picture of Morris
You know,
today.
just hang on down, but just go back there. Lee Stanza, don't smoke on live video. Show some class. Now, let me tell you about class, and I'm not going to get upset now. I've got class. You should have seen me 16 years ago when I weighed 48 kilos. This is my phone. And if I want to smoke on here, I will smoke. It's like the people who go and sit in the front row of the church on a Sunday after beating their wives up on a Saturday. Please don't talk nonsense to me. I haven't got time for crap. I've been through enough pain in my life. I've appeared on virtually every TV station, or not every, but major TV stations around South Africa. Every TV station around South Africa, BBC, Sky News, CNN around the world. I've been, and I'm saying this humbly now, humbly, I've been invited to various countries around the world to tell them my story of hope. That's all it is, about hope. There's a lot of families in South Africa that are struggling in so many ways with drug addiction. Drug addiction is killing our youth. Whether it is like the herb, the natural herb that is legalized.
They're giving like schizophrenia, like nothing else.
Yeah. We just took in another one today who's got dual diagnosis. And it's very sad.
Yeah, it's not cool.
Yeah, so I've been very fortunate to use my life story as to give people hope. I've spoken at most schools around this country. I have spoken at university, colleges, churches. I've dedicated my life 15 years ago because 15 years ago my nephew committed suicide because he was a drug addict and could not take it anymore. That is the reason I've got the place that I've got. And 50-60% of the people here are sponsored by me out of my own pocket. And it's first class. It's everything is done. Everything is done first class, because we can't come from third class, hey Kurt, and then expect to go first class. I was a down and out. Hi Lloyd. I was a down and out drunk. I was a park bench drunk. And I was then nominated to be the premier for a party for the Western Cape, which I did for about a month or two, but then I couldn't do both things. But my activism has always been there for years. I wasn't drunk every day. And I've had it all in life. I was very well off. And then I lost it all. And today I've got whatever I've got. And the most important thing that I've got today is that I am sober. It's Sunday night and I'm sober. And like I said, this is Kurt. Kurt gets married next. Hey, hello Tyson. Tyson's a bit trippy. He wants to be on the show with us. Okay, Frida Kuhn. Hi, Frida. Yo, Frida Kuhn remembers me from Sunup. Hi, Frida. I think that was about... I haven't spoken to you now probably about 25, 30 years. Wow, Frida, God bless you. That's beautiful. That is the magic of technology. So, God bless you, Frida. Absolutely stunning. Thanks, Lynn. So, yeah, so that has been my life story. You know, the biggest thing I ever did and what I stole the time from my mother and my father. I was a disappointment to my parents. I know when I had my sporting career, I played a lot of cricket. I played a lot of sport, but cricket was my favorite sport. And I believe I would have gone on to great heights. And I was 18 years old when I was selected to go and play and invited to go and join a club overseas in England. And I drank it away. You know, I drank my sporting career away. I drank many things away. No regrets. You know, sometimes when you lie in bed and you think back and you say, what if? I've seen the world. Obviously want to see a bit more of the world. And my greatest joy in life now, like this man next to me, when he came into me for the second time, and like I said, we've known each other 15 years, this man could hardly breathe. He was on death's door.
Sure.
And God resurrected him. The only part I played was to be the hands and the feet of Jesus Christ. That's all. and today is the CEO of the RAEL organization, which has been going for 13 years, which has got audited books, which is run professionally. When it comes to things like that, I want to thank you for all the wishes that are coming through. I want to run things properly, and when the guys come into this place and at RAEL, they're treated with the utmost respect. But I'm a stern leader, and so is Kurt. We are stern with a lot of love. You're not going to come here and put us a kopan. You're not going to come here and tell us how the show's going to work, because the way you wanted the show to work landed you in front of my desk. We're going to show you. If you want to walk with us, you'll find sobriety. If you don't walk with us, then you must go out and drug. You must go to prison and do whatever you must do. Go and cause hardship and hell for your parents for the rest of your life. Because I did it for 25 years to my beloved mother and father. My father's late, my mother's ill, and at least I'm sober today to look after my mother. And there comes a time in every man's life when it's time to give back. And that's what I'm doing to society now. Giving back 18 hours a day to help a country that is broken, a country that is broken by addiction, a country that is broken by fraud, a country that is broken by corruption, and a country that is broken with no morals, no respect, and no discipline. And that's what we try now install. We will read your comments, every one of your comments afterwards, myself
Definitely.
and Kurt. And for those who want help, we will. This is not like an advertising program. RAEL has never advertised. But the people that have left here, most of them are sober today. Some I've buried. Kurt and I have buried some people who've left here. Because you either listen or you don't. God, we say God helps those who help themselves. But if God puts you in a position and the Holy Spirit is there to help you, and we're not fly-by-night Christians, or we're not holier than thou at all.
No,
sometimes
we
I
are,
can,
eh?
yeah. Sometimes you can hear me. I fluke, and that's probably from my police days. And I know how to fluke, and I don't hide it, because God doesn't care whether I fluke here or whether I fluke there or whether I fluke on front here or whether I smoke in front of you. I'm not going to hell for that. I'm not going to hell for that. So it's good. Kurt and I haven't shared this because I've been around the country. Yeah, I've done interventions all around this country. Kurt has been with me on some of the interventions. I've done interventions. I've been
out of the country.
yeah, I've been flown overseas to do interventions with people. Not because I'm clever. I've got to stand at 7, grade 9. Not because I'm clever. It is because. Okay, how do you turn that off, Kurt? That's very nasty of them. And not because I'm clever, but because I know addiction recovery. I know it. And this man sitting next to me is a beautiful man. I love him like my son. And the way he operates this house and this farm is, I could never, I mean it, I've had a couple. I could never get a better man than this. I've had a couple, and he's loyal to me. I'm loyal to him. I look after him. And I don't expect, if you pay peanuts, you get monkeys. And it's just almost, Kurt, you're giving me a choke in my throat here. I think the biggest thing the thing that I like the most about my addiction recovery, about my escape from alcoholism and drugs, is that I can go and talk around South Africa from podiums, and I can go talk around the world and express myself of my story. I've told my story thousands of times. But it goes beyond that now. It's not Anthony anymore. People have attempted to write a book on me, and I've stopped them. I said, it's not time yet. I've stopped 4 people. And I said, no, it's not time for a book yet. We'll get there. We'll get there. Anyway, yes, Kurt, and good evening to Conrad, Kurt's father, and Vanessa, his mother, who always watches our shows. And amazing people, been through hell, and now watching their son, who's getting married next month, who's got a little baba. And just lastly, I just want to say before we start chatting, Kurt and I, is that when a man named his child after me, it was probably the biggest honor I've ever been given. A man who was down and out, from heroin for all the years in heroin. And he'd been to 16 or 17 rehabs, and he came to us and he got sober and he got married and he had a child.
In September, you were 6 years, eh?
6 years old, and he named that child after me. That was the greatest honor that has ever been bestowed on me. Money can't buy that. Okay, so my nephew died, and that's why we're here. Kurt,
Yeah,
my man, eh?
Yo, Mr. Hall, thank you. I think, as you were busy speaking, I was just
Do we have
thinking of
NCs or not? Or don't we have NCs? Do we have cool drink in the spot, or don't we have cool drink? And
I think the kitchen might be a bit under pressure.
is the kitchen under pressure? Or?
Nothing that we can't sort out. But I think, geez, thanks, Mr. Hall.
All right, the NC while you talk, bro.
The addiction recovery side of things is...
Are they all the same?
Yes.
Okay.
Those are coming up there, and these are coming up there. I think we might see more on there, because I'm not...
Okay, but then we'll read them later. We can just carry on chatting. Otherwise, it's actually quite rude to read in public.
We are going to read, and as you say, I follow what you say, because I think, with the classic example of practicing, if this is a recovery meeting, then the people understand what I'm saying, then and practicing the principles in all your affairs. I think that is what started me off believing what you say about addiction recovery and things like that. And now through believing what you said, I think it's also the classic example of climbing into that hole, that story of the addict stuck in the hole, and I was there, and because of your experience and things like that, climbing in the hole with me, and every step of the ladder out of the way, there's nothing I need to be afraid of to say to you or tell you. There's in your 15 years sobriety, that's very scarce in South Africa, by the way, 15 years of uninterrupted, hardcore, proper sobriety, at least one recovery meeting a day for 15 years. I think you said you missed about 2, eh?
2 in the first, yeah. 2 in the first 2 years I missed when my mom was ill.
And just by you carrying the message and what has worked for you and things like that, for sure. You said that we know each other for 15 years, and I said it earlier that 15 years ago I had a bit of a listening problem coupled with a drug problem, and as you get older, you go through different things, and you think, this will never happen to me. And we sit with the same situation with the guys on the program that haven't gone so far down the scale, and listening again to the very short version of an undetailed version of your story, that is the story of drug addiction and alcoholism and even pharmaceuticals today. I was in a very similar position at 21, 22. I was qualified already. I was working with, I wouldn't say celeb chefs, but big names in the hospitality industry.
Don't be so humble, Kurt. You were working with celeb chefs, you know what I mean?
Just about,
don't get too humble, you know what I mean?
And I was well on my way, and then obviously the drugs got worse, and I wasn't controlling it anymore, and it started controlling me. And long story short, it became I lost more and more, and outward life got more difficult to uphold, because it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing and degrading once something's got the grip of you, and you can't. You can't. You try and put on a brave face, but eventually the wheels start coming off, and I also started with a...
Is that before you burnt the butchery down?
Oh no, that was just teenage. No, I wasn't a teenager yet.
No,
I was about 12, 11 or 12. No, that was just young rebelliousness. Smoking cigarettes on the Scullum. And I know that they had broken into the butchery a couple of weeks before that, and there was a piece of foam that they were closing the window with the counter, so we were burning like smiley faces and all of that, and eventually we ran out of cigarettes. I think it was probably 11 or 12, and we started using our lighters to sort of burn our names in there. And when I got halfway through the U of the Kurt, then the side of the counter started burning. But I wasn't fully to blame because I know that there was fat or something on the side of the counter that just started burning uncontrollably. I ran straight past the fire hydrant because I shat myself. And the next morning when we went to school, there was no more butchery.
Hey, good. Yeah, do some insane things, and the time that
That wasn't the last time that
you
I
almost burnt yourself up with a car
No, that was drug induced.
full of heroin.
Full of a couple of things, but I think mostly full of guilt and shame and
Yeah.
isolation and despair. A lot of drugs in my life and nobody else because I had worked myself into that lonely position. By that time, I sort of thought I was getting life right, or I'd tried very hard to get life right. I was stealing a lot of livestock, getting a decent salary, working hard, and just came back from the crack house, full of drugs, and the car died, and obviously I was staying on a farm as well, and the gravel road obviously separated the petrol pipe from the petrol filter, and I was too out of it to realize that I was waving the pipe around thinking, what is this and whatever. In the meantime, I was throwing petrol all over myself, and there obviously wasn't a torch nearby except a lighter to see what was going on. And funnily enough, the first thing I ran away while I was on flames, I first took the heroin out of my pocket and threw it because I didn't want it to burn with me. That's how sick I was. And after I rolled on the ground and while I was running away, the sorry God, because I thought it was over.
Wow.
But
Your dad was telling me a story, Kurt,
yes.
that you were a criminal at the age of 4 when you stole the crayons. Or 5, I don't know how old you were. 4 or 5?
Yeah, I think I was about 4. That's my earliest memory.
This is the naughtiest man you will ever meet, I tell you. If you ever want to spend a night and listen to stories, you listen to this man's stories. I tell you, he can...
I think I was about 4 years old at the time. It's my earliest sort of memory of what I believe, in a way. You know, we laugh about it now, but
Yeah.
is the road of sort of serious shit. And maybe just opening the door a little bit to rebellion, or whatever you want to call it. I had crayons in the spur, and it wasn't my crayons,
David's photo.
and I was coloring in the picture,
David.
and I kind of liked these crayons. I think it was quite nice crayons.
Yeah.
It must have been.
Spur used to have good crowns. Not anymore.
They've changed now. And
Thanks, Angus.
so when I got home, I took the crayons out of my pocket. And I won't forget the story because my dad, even at that age, I mean, that's my first memory of me knowing that I was taught right. I was taught the right way. Is that I pulled the crayons out of my pocket, and my parents asked me where. And when they realized I'd stolen it from the spur, I got into deep shit. My dad wanted to take me back to the spur to go give it back.
You see, so, yeah, we laugh about a lot of the stuff that we did now, but I just want to show you a photograph. This is a photograph. This is my nephew who hung himself, and whose memory I opened up RAEL. And I watched a family fall apart and break apart, and it was my family. And to this day, we're not healed. To this day. And I know my eldest brother, I don't know, he watches sometimes, but I was 10 years sober before my eldest brother spoke to me again. Now we get on well, we see each other as often as we can, and it just tore family apart. Alcohol and drugs tears you apart, and a lot of families are living in denial, and a lot of families are living in fear. And I think a lot of the part is of the fear living is they got trelly doors and they got maxi doors at their bedrooms.
Their bedrooms.
And the stories that we hear here, and obviously known
And that's happening in all
that's
class
happening in affluent areas. In affluent areas,
that is everywhere.
This is the same in Bishop's Court as it is in Bishop Laver's. There is no discrimination when it comes to drugs.
That's why we try and share the orange ribbon on Fridays, just so that those people that are going through that don't feel so alone and think that they're the only ones going through it. It's happening everywhere. Eh? That's the state of the nation, if you want to call it.
And the nation is there is no political will to change this.
Yeah.
And we've challenged everyone from old when Zuma was in, right through to the Democratic Alliance.
We've been to Parliament.
We've been to Parliament how many times? How many times? You know, we've held marches up country. We've and no one wants to listen because it's easy to control a drug country. It's easy to have when people are full of drugs. They don't care about. We didn't care. You know, when I was drunk on the streets, I'm not going to care about what's going to happen to the country, who's stealing what, who's defrauding what corruption is taking place. You're not interested. So yeah, it's very sad, and I'll tell you why I went to prison, because now people have asked why I went to prison, so I'll tell you why I went to prison. You know what I mean? Nothing to hide here.
Yeah, no, we are open book.
Yeah, I was down and out in Beverly Hills. And there's Cheryl, come on. Sorry, I just saw Cheryl's name.
Cheryl Parker.
Cheryl Parker, owner of Woolworths, owner of the whole Woolworths. And I think she's got a Woolworths in her lounge as well. You know what I mean? Just like a semi-Woolworths. You know,
Okay.
She only shops at Woolworths. She has her nails done twice a day. That's Cheryl.
Well, nowadays you have to have it done twice a day because the sanitizer at the shops apparently messes up the ladies' nails.
Is it?
Yeah.
Didn't know that. Okay, what cool. But you know, when they're squirting you at the shop, what are they squirting you with? We don't know what they're
We don't
squirting with.
know.
Yeah. Could be yesterday's. Okay, I won't even go there. And I went into this restaurant with a hooker. It was many years ago, 17, 18 years ago. And I said to the owner, Joe, it was in Goodwood, Pizza Grill and King. And I said, Joe, all the booze tonight that gets sold is for my account. Now, living on the streets, I was starting to live on the streets then. I was still at home, but I was out all the time and I wasn't working, and the bill came. My mom was my biggest enabler. My mother would cover for me for anything. And the bill came, and I said to Joe, phone my mother, here's my mom's number. And my mom told Joe in no uncertain terms what to do with me. She had reached the point. My mother had reached the point of no return. I was destroying too much. I never stole from my mother. I never broke into places. I never stole. And which doesn't make me a different addict or alcoholic. It just makes that wasn't my modus operandi. And then I went to the Goodwood holding cells until Monday. And when I came into the court on Monday, there my mother was sitting, my father was sitting, and one of my 4 brothers was sitting. And I thought, okay, well, I'm going to get out now, thank God. And then they called my mom into the witness box. And my mom begged the magistrate not to give me bail. She said, I'll never forget her words. I'm watching my son die in front of me. I've buried my first grandchild from drugs who killed himself. I don't want to bury my son yet. Please put him in prison. And he put me in prison. And about 5-6 years later, I've related the story quite a lot, Kurt. I was walking through Tiger Valley, which I don't often go to Tiger Valley, and because that's for the upper class, you know what I mean? That's a Cheryl.
Yes.
Cheryl needs to go to Tiger Valley, not me. And this man came walking towards me, and he just put out his hand, and he gave me a hug, and he said, "Your mother must be very proud of you today." So I said, "Well, I think so, sir." So he says, "Well, I've seen you on TV, I've seen you in the newspapers, you're doing very well for yourself." So I said, "Thank you, sir." And he looked at me and he said, "You don't know who I am." So I said, "No, I don't." He said, "I am the magistrate that denied you bail."
Sure.
And I walked out of Tiger Valley, Kurt, and I was sobbing my eyes out because it brought back all those old emotions of me questioning my mom in court. I thought I was Barry Roo, you know, and questioning my mom. And I walked out of Tiger Valley. I didn't go into a shop, and I was bawling my eyes out. But I'd realized how much grace and mercy God had on my life, that this man could remember me all these years later. I was 48 kilos when I stopped alcohol.
Dealing with so many cases.
And dealing with so many cases, that this magistrate would remember me. It was virtually a turning point in my sobriety, where I realized, okay, now Anthony, now you openly in the eyes. A lot of people know you, and your sobriety can affect, or even a relapse could affect a lot of people. And you know, my life is dedicated to helping the still suffering addict, alcoholic parents, and whoever it was, you know. So, you know, I look at Curtis as, because I know the direction which I'm busy taking now, and I think a lot of people know what direction I'm taking, is this place of this RAEL farm, and we've been going RAEL for 13 years. RAEL has been going. 21st of September 2007 is in good hands.
And that's World Addiction Day as well.
Yeah, well, you can, you know, humble.
Very.
Yeah. Yeah, we started World Addiction Day in 2009, and we started Orange Friday in 2015.
I can see quite a bit of ribbons there.
Yeah, so, you know, people who ask people to wear something orange on a Friday just to remove the stigma. We need to remove the stigma. And what I can say, and maybe your parents are going to shout at me now, but it's okay, is that parents have got a bit soft. Kids want to be drugged. They want to lie on the couch,
and
watch
kids
TikTok.
Want to be the parents.
And kids want to be the parents. Myself and Kurt have had parents here booking a child in. Amen, Tracy. Amen. Have
Beautiful.
been booking a child in, and I've had to stop the whole meeting and say, listen, you little twit, if you think you're coming here to call the shots, you better go find another place. Because the way you talk to your parents, you ain't going to speak to me or Kurt like that.
Never.
So get a life, bro. And I think parents need to drug test their children. They need to be firm with their children. And there's an old saying that goes, spare my feelings, save my life. So I've got Angus here. He's been here 6 years. And he looks after my mom. He's a qualified carer. Angus Malchas is a carer. And my mom loves him to bits, absolute bits, you know. And we've got so many people. Some have been here 8 years, some have been here 7 years. And then you've got the people in the program. And before COVID, we've always wanted to get people jobs. We don't believe in the dry out shit.
No.
The 3-week joke is a joke, and I will.
That's where the empowering lives come from.
You know, when I met my girlfriend, she spoke about the 3-week rehabs, and I said to her, okay, I don't know what you're smoking, but let me put you in the school here.
A non-substance abuser can't change something about themselves in 3 weeks.
No ways, we see it here. And then she says she'll now never, ever recommend someone to go for a short-term rehab, because she works here and she's virtually here every day, every second day, and she sees what's happened. It takes a long time. You can't in 3 weeks undo what you've done in 15 years.
Never.
And the only reason, Kurt, you know this and I know this, and I'm sure a lot of people of you know it, the only reason it's 3 weeks or a month is because that's what medical aid pays.
Definitely.
That's the only reason they got 3 weeks rehab.
Because we've tried to convince them to pay us the same amount for 6 months, but they won't do it, because then the revolving door and the turnover of people isn't going to be as quick.
And that's 80,000 rand a month per person. So you have 20 people there. You're earning 1.6 million a month.
And
that's
robbery. The parents have been robbed already.
Yeah.
So who is the parent, the drug addict, and their family in the whole situation?
For sure.
That's disgusting, man.
Yeah, and so you're getting robbed by the drug dealer and by these and I'm not running the people who run the rehab down, but they know as well as I know, and I've challenged them on many a forum. Give me proof.
If it worked, then why did so many of them land up in longer term programs?
Correct. It doesn't work. You can't do it in 3 weeks, Kurt. Imagine you coming in for 3 weeks.
No. In 3 weeks, you're still off the hook.
I don't judge people who use drugs only. No, you see, if you're using drugs and sorry, the dogs are just having a. That's right, Dale. 6 months minimum. Anything under 6 months, you're actually wasting your time. You're wasting your time. Okay, sorry about that. The dogs were having a bit of a issue here. There's 13 dogs, and some are inside, some are outside. It's a beautiful night in the Breeder Valley, so we've got our doors open, and we've got the people on watch or whatever they're doing, and it's beautiful in the Breeder Valley today. We had a beautiful day, and one of the things that happened today, Kurt, you were with me, is because I'm not here most of the time. I travel, so I'm not here most of the time. Is Kurt? But you see me more than my girlfriend does.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's quite lekker.
Okay, yeah. It's not nice, but like.
I see you more than most people do.
Yeah, no, for sure. And yeah, I don't know what that is.
Honestly, if someone says when you use drugs, yeah, but it's because of friends you got hooked on drugs. I'm sorry, it's bull. It's a choice you make yourself. Or am I
Okay.
wrong?
Yeah, Sharon, I agree with you, but I just want to like add something here. When we took our first drink or first drug, we had a choice. But like maybe we were younger and think, okay, well, let's take a drag of a doobie, or these days it's tuck. Let's have a drag, and you get hooked. You can get hooked after your first drag of tuck.
Yes, of course.
Your first puff of tuck.
But 10 years ago, there wasn't as much examples of what it did.
No, not at all, because everything was anonymous.
Yes.
People wouldn't show a face to it. So we've had the Minister of Social Development of the Western Cape, Shana Fernandez, and I can speak about it because she's very open about it. Her son came to this farm. I've had Springboks on this farm. I've had announcers from ENCA on this farm. So it doesn't discriminate. So you don't. When I took my first drink and I smoked my first joint, you must hear me when I've been stoned on dope. Oh my goodness! Then I like write poetry and I start talking. Hey, I'm a pleasure to have around. You know what I mean? But we'll never do that again, God willing. But when I'm drinking, but if you go back now and say, okay, well, I didn't have a choice then. You did have a choice, but now you're young. Let's go and give it a try. And like Kurt says, there wasn't as much in-your-face stuff now about addiction and addiction recovery. Because in the old days, they used to come to school, I like Latsi and Jared, they used to come to school and they used to show you photographs of drugs. These days, you don't need photographs of drugs. You just like either go to the drug dealer or you go on Google. So when you find out that you've got a problem and you go into recovery and you hear what happens there and you tell your own story, if you go out again, if you go out of recovery and you pick up again, then you have the choice. You have the choice in the beginning, but like I say, you're young, you're trying to impress, and you pick up a drink and you pick up a doobie, and if your life becomes unmanageable, then you have the choice once you've left recovery, because you know now what it's going to do. But when I picked up my first drink and picked up my first joint, I didn't know I was going to become an alcoholic and an addict.
And relapse isn't a part of recovery. The
No!
way they teach at the clinics.
No,
It's a
they
lack
teach
of
at the
recovery.
clinics.
It's a lack of recovery.
It's a lack of recovery. You're either working on your relapse or you're working on your recovery.
So my choice is either do my recovery program continuously, day by day, and keep at it. That is my choice.
Yes.
Or if I stop working my program, I lose my choice again because the drugs have to follow.
Correct.
And they
Correct.
don't teach you that. They can't in 3 weeks.
No. Because the first week you'll come in and you'll detox. The second week you may see the psychologist. And the third week you're working on your exit strategy.
And which chick you're going to meet.
And which chick you're going to meet next. Yeah, absolutely. Michael Ween Worcester, it's www.rael, R-A-E-L, rael, like Israel.co.za. Recovering addicts, empowering lives. And all our people are empowered here. They get jobs from here. Okay, a lot go home, most go home. But the other ones who get jobs before COVID, it was wonderful because there was a lot of jobs. We had 12 people working here.
Out of 25.
Yeah, 12 out of 25 were
And
working.
2 studying.
And 2 studying. And now we've got Lincoln who's going to go study. And Angus, who's qualified, Graham, who stays here, he's away for the night. He qualified and got his
Yeah, he's been here in just over 5 years.
5.5 years he's been with us, huh?
He was pushing trolleys in Lansdowne. He's a qualified panel beater.
He was pushing trolleys, came from a good home in Claremont. You know, like parents had nice money, good, lovely parents. I've met them. Obviously, I've met them. Beautiful people. Father's an amazing man. And he just decided to go push trolleys. Then he became a gangster in Hanover Park. Then he came here at 25, at the age of 25. Today he's qualified, got a baba with his girlfriend. That's the grace and mercy of God. It doesn't, and for the people that have been to our place, hi Renee, beautiful, you must share it sometime. For the people who've been to our place is spotless. Our place is spotless. It's because cleanliness next to godliness, and cleanliness takes us away from the filth we used to be in. The filth in the drug dens, the filth in the lying on the park bench, lying in the sloot, lying wherever we can. Thank you, Frida. Wherever we found a place to hide, our faces away. So I never had, I only stopped drinking at the age of 41. I'm 56 now, Kurt. You wouldn't say so, huh?
Not at all.
Eh? Okay, hardcore, no. Hardcore. I can give you an increase if you say that again. Addiction is a choice, not a sickness. Then you see, Yuri, you must go read up on medical science, and you must go read the World Health Organization, and you must go read the United Nations Charter, and you must go read what the medical profession says about addiction, my brother. And then it's not a choice.
Because if I pick up a drink or a drug, I don't stop.
Yeah.
I lose my choice.
Yeah. I lose the power of choice. So, but that's Yuri, that's your view, my brother. And I'm telling you now, it's wrong. It's wrong. Because the medical profession, I think, know better. And you know what? Who actually knows better? The people who've used the stuff. Because at the end, we weren't using to get drunk or gerook or gesyp or anything like that. We were using to survive. To survive. If you are saying addiction, and I'm not going to make this about you, but because it's a nice point you made, but it's actually wrong. Totally wrong.
My choice is the program.
Yeah.
Automatically.
If we say it's a choice, then I put it to you, sir. So is AIDS. So is AIDS. Besides the 1 or 2% who got it through blood transfusions, etc. If you slept with a man in those days and you got AIDS, it's a choice whether you're going to go screw that man or not. It's a choice. Government put in millions. Thank you, Burlett. Government were putting billions of rand into AIDS. Remember the first scandal of the ANC in power was the Sarafina scandal, where Mrs. Zuma, Vet Doek Zuma, I don't know what they call her, when she gave millions of rands for the play Sarafina 2, that I think they're still busy writing the script. Where's the money? Why doesn't that same money get put into drug addiction? We've been activists for years. And unfortunately, I was in the drug squad, and then I went on the other side.
Yeah, Yuri's saying there that he was also addicted and for 6 years. But what happens, Yuri, if you pick up something now?
Yeah.
Do you lose your power of choice? Can you stop when you want to? I've lost the ability to, once I've picked up something, to stop.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, it's if it was just a choice, so it's a choice whether. No, hang on, let's get this again here. If I go and sleep with someone and I don't have a condom, or I sleep with a man and I get AIDS, is that a choice? That's a choice. So why is it classified as a disease?
Of course.
Of course it is, man. There's a gene. I'm not going to go into the technical medical part. I can get my girlfriend to come and explain the medical version for you, because she's a medical doctor of 26 years. She knows about addiction. from the medical side. She doesn't know it from the practical side of using, of, getting up in the morning, and the first thing that I had to do was take a drink. Otherwise, my hands wouldn't stop shaking, my lips wouldn't stop moving.
Thanks, Lloyd.
Yeah, there you say it, Yuri, you won't stop. So what is it then?
My choice is the program.
Yeah. I don't want to drug again. I don't want to drink again, because after my second drink, I can't guarantee you anything.
So if it's not a disease, if it's a choice, then why can some people have one drink and I can't once I've picked it up?
Yeah. Tank, do we have inches, bro?
There we go. Tank brought us some
Oh,
inches.
God, cool. Tank is on a roll, yeah? Thanks, Tanky.
Tank knows we smoke and he doesn't have a problem with it on live.
It's in the genes, we know it. Okay, yeah. So we're not going to defend. Let me tell you, they can call it a choice or call it a disease. Let me tell you something. It messed 30 years of my life up. Whether it's a choice or a disease, it crucified me for 31 years. It took away so much happiness, so much joy, so much time that I could have had with my mother and my father. So much time that I could have had with my brothers and my sisters. So let me tell you now, my friends, addiction is not a choice. Whether I pick up now is a choice. There's wine in my fridge. There's full bottles of wine in my fridge. I get a lot of presents of wine. I don't know why they give me wine, and no one gave me wine when I drank.
That's a cuck one.
That's a cuck one. I go speak at the Rotary Club. I just tell them how wine screwed my life up.
And, I remember they handed you the...
Remember that?
Yes.
And they handed me the biggest bottle of wine that I've ever had in my entire life. And they said, thank you for the great speech. Here's I present you. And it's a massive, massive thing of wine. I said, no, cool, I'll take it because I got friends.
Who can drink.
Who can drink?
That don't have the disease of addiction.
My girlfriend drinks red wine. And she sits there at night and pours her glass of red wine. I go outside because I don't smoke in the house. I go outside and I have my cigarette. Or I sit there and I have my cool drink or my coffee and she drinks a red wine. It doesn't bother me. You know why? Why? Because I've lost the desire.
And that's what the program does.
You lose the desire. You can come and drink in front of me. You can get gesyped till tomorrow morning. You can get gerook all night. When I go out with my friends, they drink, they get pissed. And they say, Anthony, obviously you driving. I said, of course, you think I'm getting behind the wheel with a drunk man. You must be out of your mind, bro.
If you are addict and you are at a braai where they're drinking and something's telling you that I smoke a dope or I want to drink or I feel like this, then there's something wrong with your program.
Then you're not in recovery. Then you're not working the program. I go to functions where I'm the guest speaker and I must wait through all the, when they introduce people, welcome to the president,
There's
so
how many toasts and all that.
How many toasts? I had, with Cyril Ramaphosa, I went to one. Cyril Ramaphosa and Trevor Manuel. Now, we know Trevor Manuel, Trevor Manuel enjoys his dope. And we were sitting there and all the top notches there and they were drinking all this shit. And it was lekker because I was just sitting there enjoying themselves. And then another thing for us in recovery, when you go to a place, don't go to a bar, don't go to slippery places, you're going to slip. Don't go to a bar if you don't have a reason.
Yeah, no, there's a difference
There's
between
a big
being smart
and being strong.
Yeah.
So don't go and say, hey, a lot of people leave recovery and they say, I went to my friends and they were all smoking tick and I didn't touch it. And then I tell them, listen here, you little tit. You didn't touch it now. But wait till you've gone there. It's coming. But wait till you've gone there after you've had a little argument with your mother or you've had an argument with your little girlfriend. And that tick lolly comes around. What you going to say then, brother? Don't tempt fate. We try and think as recovery. I could never, after my second drink, give you any guarantee.
Oh, no.
Where I'm going to be, what I'm going to do.
I couldn't even give myself a guarantee.
No, never. But my intentions was to go home.
All the time. And I tried it over and over, and each time it took me down.
Absolutely. And every time it's not that, how can I put it? I drank a lot. And surprisingly, I only drank beer. Beer. My friends can drink 12 and they're fine. I was at a function the other night. where the function was lekker and the wine was flowing. Lovely people, all professional people, because it doesn't matter if it's like professional or not. You know, I've been in functions in Bishop Lavers. And they were getting gesaved. They were wired. And then the one day said, I got a bottle of Jaggermeister.
Oh, hectic.
Hey, and I turned out and whoa, where was the old days? But the desire, I'm not going to drink that poison that's going to kill me.
There we go, Duncan saying it.
Yeah, sit in a barber long enough, you'll get a haircut. All bets off after the first drink. There's a man who's got good sobriety in England. Man who gave me a guitar. Thank you, Duncan, my brother. He gave me 2 guitars, I think. And did a musical concert for us. You know that?
Yes.
During COVID,
yes,
Duncan did a musical concert for us. I wish he would do another one. Okay, Renee, what's in short? Okay.
I've seen a comment earlier here from Renee. It was quite a long one. In short, I'm a single dad running a successful business now. Just more than 7 years ago, about a year, I was hooked on cat. The devil tried to take my life. Huge accident. Climb out vehicle with no scratches. Bought a new one in a time holding that shit in my hand praying. When I was still living in Secunda. Okay, I stayed in Secunda for a while as well. The cat is lost there. And next to that, Evander, I was getting tired over there. Made a deal with God. So when I returned to my farm, suddenly I was not.
Yeah, actually, if I didn't respond, maybe I was overseas or maybe I was somewhere. But we'd normally do, Zainzamar found his recovery on this farm.
Yes.
His sister is the announcer at ENCA. So if you can just give me a call again, my brother. My numbers are on there. And I'll give it to you again.
There was 1 or 2 as well that popped up quickly that I couldn't respond to because we were in the middle of speaking.
All right. Okay, Willie, there's nothing, when I go out with people and they say, or I go to their houses and they say, what do you like to drink? I'll say, well, something cold, Coke will be cool. And they know who I am. And they say, I said, but have your beer. No, it's disrespectful. I said, no, it's not.
Lost the desire.
I'm not interested.
To me, not to them.
Yeah, I'm not interested in alcohol. When I fly overseas and the trolley comes up and down, I'm not interested. Just give me a Coke and I will. Thank you, Lee. Lee's on the ball again, eh? Lee's on a different level.
That's Ali.
That's our Lee J. Jeez, she's on a different level, that woman. I think someone's going to poach her to do that.
Then I'm going to put a heat on them.
Then we're going to put a heat on them. Okay, no, cool. We've done that before. You know what I mean?
You're going to have to call one or 2 old contacts.
Yeah. Lee just stays. Lee, no one's going to take you away from working for us, huh? Because she's sharp, huh? How's it, George?
As sharp as they come.
So you can debate the merits and demerits, but I'm telling you now, 2 out of 4 houses in South Africa have got a drug or an alcohol problem.
Yes, by far.
And I'm venturing to say 3 out of 4, but I'll hold back at 2 out of 4. We booked in a guy today.
Sure.
From dope, dacha, marijuana. He got psychosis, schizophrenia. The oak still doesn't know he's in a rehab.
No, he doesn't. It's very sad.
And that's so sad because he's a young boy, he's a good-looking boy.
You know how many calls we get a day that they say just weed? My son's just smoking weed. Yeah, he's just weed. Or the neighbor's son is doing this and my son's just on weed. And a lot of the mental illness nowadays is from weed.
The government made the worst mistake when they legalized dope.
Definitely.
Because it's opened up the door. Because kids say now, you know what, I only smoke weed, so I'm all right. But they don't know what's in that weed. There, Jared, you found your recovery on the RAEL farm. You and Klutzy and Garth and all those guys who are online now. Because you know what?
A year in a couple of days.
A year in a couple of days. And Jared was a little nutcase.
Yes.
But we loved him.
We still
love
do.
Him. We still love Jared.
And it's almost his 21st.
Yeah, what a pleasure. And he's sober. And no one gave you... He came from Belleville Station to us.
Yeah.
Living on Belleville Station, that young... And I'm going to call it like it is. That young white boy came to this house.
And he's a successful salesman now.
And we sponsored that man to be where he is today. That's the way we do recovery. We're not into this kind of hairy-fairy shit, man. If you want your life right, you want to get your life, listen to us and the other leadership with a lot of love, and you will get your life. But if you're going to come here and think your mother and father are going to pay me, those who do pay, that you're going to come here for a holiday, and I'm going to waste your parents' money, rather go to Mauritius. Never. There's Annette Salmon, you can ask her. She's a policewoman in Ladysmith. She's online now.
And that's right. Most of Carrick started with weed.
How many times she's invited me to go and give talks in Ladysmith. Ladysmith, a small town, there's no water in Ladysmith. You know that?
Sure.
There's no water there, bro. And so Ned does so much for the community.
If I'm not mistaken, is that the lady with the birds, Mr.
She's got the birds, and
yes.
she runs an animal farm as well. I don't think she's like all there, you know what I mean? Because I remember the first night I stayed at her and Ralph's house, and I hear this movement in like 3 o'clock in the morning, and she's a policewoman, so I think, okay, we got no problem, you know. She'll I will give you a shout, Ashley, I promise you, my brother. Sure. If not tonight, I will give you a shout tonight, my bro. You know what I mean? And they went out, and the little birds, they were taken at 4 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning, with a syringe.
You told me hand feeding
these birds,
yes.
And I thought, hey, but this woman must
just gives and gives of herself.
Gives of herself to the community, gives of herself to her four I think it's got 4 children now. Ralph is in the peach factory, runs the farm, got the most exquisite birds.
Yes.
I'm not talking about birds that you used to hang around. You know what I mean?
Flying birds.
Flying birds. No, they don't even fly, man, you know? Isabel, if you live in Ladysmith, you must hook up with a woman by the name of Annette Salmon. She should be the Commissioner of Police, because you know the Commissioner of Police, we haven't seen him in public for 4 to 5 months. He's missing, bro.
Sure.
Well, we got a drug pandemic, we got a corruption pandemic, we got. I believe they burnt down a place this evening, a municipality. I think it was in Durban. I want to read what Jared said here. You can read it, huh?
Where is it?
I think it just came up now.
Yes, that's true, Mr. Hall and Mr. Schüler were the only people who gave me another chance, sponsored me 8 months. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful to be in a warm bed and not on Bowel taxi rank. Thank you again, Mr. Hall.
That's beautiful. So, by sponsoring that young boy, there was a return on investment. His life.
And he gets to carry the message to another
He gets to carry the message to another youngster. So it's not only financial things you're talking about here. You're talking about investing in people's lives. And we are the only rehab in this world that sponsors as many people as we do. Because ours is about lives. That's why we work from early in the morning. And I'm not being unhumble now. Don't feel sorry for me. Till very late at night. We won't hit the pillow now before 1:30 tonight.
At least.
Because there's stuff that has to be done.
And we don't go home at 5 o'clock.
No, not at all. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Is there still coffee in this program, my bro?
Yes, Mr. Justin's going to make coffee right now, Mr. Yes. And Mr. Schüler.
And Tanky has been here for, how long you been here, Tanky?
15 months
15 months today. Tanky, hardcore, bro.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Hardcore.
Tank couldn't make 15 hours clean.
Yeah. And Tank went through a bad 6 months. Fighting the system.
But we're willing to struggle with anybody.
Yeah. We're willing to walk with you. Because remember, we also fought our own system.
You know that natural resistance inside.
Sorry, this is not a charity channel, and you're not even in South Africa.
That's replying to someone. Please, my friends, help me. Where is it? 1000. My phone number is +25.
David. No,
David needs recovery.
Thank you, Renette. David, my brother. I don't want to get upset, man. Don't talk crap to us, my bro.
Natasha, you can give my
Are you on
contact
drugs, David?
to anybody online.
Then I'll help you, but don't act like you're a nutter, my bro. Come and ask me for money and you don't even live in this country. What are you on? Do we look simple to you? Hey, do I look crook in my eyes? Can you see my eyes?
Can rather give us money to help
Yeah,
another
give
Jared.
us money so we can help another Jared who can go carry the message to the still suffering alcoholic and addict who hasn't got the money to come into a rehabilitation center. Don't talk cuck to me.
And
man.
there's millions in this country.
Millions. There's millions. There's millions. No, Diana is not a sweetheart. Hey, Tank is actually.
Yeah, he's a
Thank-
big teddy bear.
Ah, he's a great man.
Good oak.
Yeah. And we miss Graham tonight. He's gone to visit his girlfriend, so I don't think he'll answer his phone, but he better answer his phone when we phone him.
And his Baba.
And his Baba, and he showed a photograph of his Baba. Said, Baba's got bigger. Tommy, David asked your government who voted for you to give the money. Tommy, there's no more money in the government, my brother. There's no more even money in the Reserve Bank. There's no more money. The Mali's up. Maliam is gone, my bro. David must think we're a bunch of fucking nutters, you know what I mean?
DJ.
There's Liga. Liga's with a big husband. Hi, Frida. Frida, I want to see you again. Eh? Frida used to be when I was in the drug squad all those years ago. Yo, I can't believe it's her online. Thank you, Kester. Lee J will give you all the details. Thank you, Kester, if you want to donate. Thank you very much. And everything goes to the still suffering alcoholic and addict. Like Jared. It was close to 100,000 Rand investment by me in that man's life. I didn't know him from a bar of soap. And Kurt and I decided to help him, like we do at least 10 or 12 on this farm.
And he's living a full life. Eh?
And no money can buy what we did. No money.
And how many South African citizens and people from all walks of life walked past him and didn't even look at him?
And he's a nice looking young man. He's a lovely young man. Yeah, we're waiting for Carl to come back. Karen, we'll keep you up to date.
Definitely.
Thank you, Lee J. You can get that there, Darren. Hi, Maureen, Junita. 3:50 is like hectic, huh?
Pretty.
Yeah. So this is Kurt and I's job. We love our calling, our passion. And as I move on into other things, Kurt just gets more and more. Pleasure, Dylan. Gets more and more into this job. And I have no... Magte, you may. That's an oak say here, try the EFF.
0114032313.
Hey, Bernard, you're another level. Eh? Bernard always comes with a leg. You know what happened in the last 16 years and Kurt's 5 years? You know what is happening? We're learning to laugh again. We didn't laugh for 25, 30 years.
It was a very lonely place.
Very lonely place. Eh? No, definitely. Who's that? Sorry. Gary, definitely. Eh? We went PE the other day. We had breakfast in the Wimpy. So, yeah. I've met such a beautiful lot of people. I've been able to laugh in the last 16 years. I've been able to
build very good friendships.
Very good friendships. It's a wonder Michelle is not in line tonight. Is Mavericks open on a Sunday?
Only when Michelle's working.
Yeah. Have you ever been to Mavericks?
No.
Never.
No.
Have you been to Mavericks?
Yes, Mr.
Okay, what are you doing there, bro?
I went to go eat the chicken wings.
Chicken wings. Okay,
No,
I
don't
believe,
eat
guys.
wings.
There's we're hearing from Justin here. If you go to Mavericks, I don't know what it is. If you go to Mavericks, you can get excellent chicken wings.
Oh,
So-
barbecue.
Barbecue, is it?
Yeah, and there's strong, sticky ones if you want.
Yeah.
Sticky chicken
Yeah.
wings.
But you're a qualified chef.
Yeah.
Can you make sticky wings?
I can make any wings.
Seriously?
I can make most wings fly. If you
Okay.
want.
No, Amanda, we've got a doctor and she monitors it, but alcohol and heroin gets withdrawn at hospital. Cool. Yeah, Debbie, what do you mean you're right? Do you think Kurt and I are like those type? No ways, eh? We have got no idea what... Isn't Mavericks like a soccer team?
That's what I heard, yeah.
Yeah, me too. And to raise funds, they sell chicken wings.
I heard it's the sauce that they put on the chicken wings. Maverick sauce.
Hey, yeah. So I don't know where you find this out, Debbie. I don't know where you come from, or maybe Debbie worked there.
Hi,
You know what I mean?
Maureen. That's right, Junita. I haven't seen the plane for a while.
Seen the plane for a while, eh? No, klatsie lekker, we trending. You trending, my brother, you sober.
Lekker, I like the orange ribbon clutching.
Thanks, Diana. Chicken wings on a pole. Debbie, what is... Debbie, Hi, Teresa from the United States of America. I love the States. I've been to Ohio and to New York. I spoke in both places. I gave a speech in both places. Ohio was at that 30,000 stadium. It was amazing. Yeah, Karen, that's very sad. Eh? There's more alcoholism and drug addiction in this country than we'll ever realize.
Sure.
People hold jobs.
And the way the pharmaceuticals is coming up and wrecking the generics of Xanax and the different codeine mixtures and...
Every school has got a drug dealer.
Yo.
We get the youngsters here, 18. There's Richie come online, and Richie is, you all know that, and I'll tell you again. Richie is a Springbok wrestler. He came here to RAEL, broken, torn apart, stuffed, and he took a year. Then he got his Springbok colours, stayed with us for over 2 years, met a beautiful woman, Joni. I took Richie to Israel. Joni came with, and Graham. And Joni and Richie had an argument in the middle of Tel Aviv, my bro.
That's awful.
Yeah, have you ever heard two South Africans speaking Afrikaans in the middle of Tel Aviv having an argument?
Sounds like they're planning a war. Aren't there all those Israeli armies standing around?
My bro, everyone there has got a rifle. Everyone's got a rifle, and there's Richie and Joni in the middle because they didn't decide whether to walk or take a taxi. Nothing serious. And then Afrikaans, they're having an argument in the middle of Tel Aviv, you know? Andrea, I used to withdraw in mental institutions from alcohol. I used to see pink elephants coming out the wall. And that's why if you come into my home, you will just see elephants all over. If you go to my garden, you'll see elephants. I collect elephants. People who know me buy me elephant stuff. For my birthday, I get an elephant keyring or I get an elephant statue. There's just elephants all over my home. It must remind me where I come from. There, but for the grace of God. So I used to see pink elephants go through withdrawals, go through the DTs. Okay, Richie says he was late. He had some things to sort out. Do you want to tell us more, Richie? Hi, Kashif.
I think Richie can tell us more on the RAEL Live Recovery Stories tomorrow night at 9 o'clock.
Yes.
RAEL Live Recovery Stories.
Please go join the group, RAEL Live Recovery Stories. Oh, Teresa, wow. Hello there, Teresa, wow. And here's my aunt. Okay, lekker, Natalie. Natalie from Turkey.
Yeah, I just wanna mention something there. Lloyd is saying that every street drugs in Canada is mixed with heroin and fentanyl, and generally speaking, what happens in the USA now.
Thanks, Lloyd, for that info, my brother. Thank you for that info.
What happens in the USA now usually filters into the other countries 2 to 3 years later.
Yes,
and it's very insightful to watch these shows. I know that you hear Mr. Hall talking about his travels and that kind of thing a lot. And I think the only time you traveled that wasn't addiction related was to the World Cup in Japan.
In Japan last year.
Otherwise, it was all to find out more about how recovery works
Thanks, Stanley.
In the sort of, if you want to call it, more advanced countries sometimes,
like Portugal,
or to see how they're doing things, and our program is results from all of those combined, and obviously Mr. Hall's 15 years experience of sobriety. But thanks Lloyd. That's exactly what's happening. They're getting mixed with all different kind of synthetic drugs and stuff like that.
I tell you, our children from the age of 7 are under that war.
Yeah.
The youngest we've had here that we couldn't treat because the law says from 18 up. Our children are at war. Our schools, whether it's a private school or a government school, are drug playgrounds. And I will never tell you something that's false. It's drug playgrounds. It's steroids is for sale. Ritalin is for sale. Xanax is for sale. Dacha is for sale. Tuk is for sale. Heroin is for sale. That's in our schools. You know, when you go to, I don't know, Kurt, if you used to go to trance parties. I never went to trance parties.
Plenty, yeah.
I went to trance parties when I was in the drug squad. Hello, Giselle. You don't go to trance parties to eat hot dogs. You don't go to trance parties to see how much popcorn you can eat. Some of our parents don't know.
Sometimes you go there innocently.
Yes, yes.
Not expecting. And you know, like we say, that drugs and addiction didn't start at the robots on the street corners. My drugging and addiction and all of that started out as fun.
Yeah.
It started out as experimenting. It
was
started
lekker
out
fun.
as...
You know, to be gerook was lekker.
I know.
I loved it. To be gerook, I was in the sky. It says I used to see things in the sky that weren't there. I know when I was gerook, it was a feeling that you felt like you were walking on water. You were stoned out of your apple.
And the whole misconception about it is that everybody told you it was bad, and then you tried it and you felt lekker.
Tanya,
and you promised yourself you wouldn't do it when you were younger, and then that's how the drugs escalated.
Can I just interrupt you here? Tanya's online.
Oh.
You know, Tanya was in the last episode of The Scope, in the centerfold.
That's hardcore.
She was a hardcore model, and Tanya donated us stuff on fruits and veggies and some goods on Saturday. We went to go and see Tanya and Sean, her husband. And thank you, Tanya. Thank you again for spoiling us. Yeah, but she was a Scope model, my bro. You know Scope in those? Were you around in Scope days?
Yes.
Did you check the Scope out?
I used to page through them on the Scullen.
Okay, on the Skellum.
Yeah. I won't say whose scopes they were.
Yeah, Richie, you must come back, eh? Trans parties are mainly drugs. Trans parties are drugs. That's it. Ask Richie. Richie was the trans party king.
And especially
Thank
now
you, Tanya.
through the silly season, Mr. All the guys that have...
You know, Tanya turned me down 25 years ago.
Damn.
25 years ago. Poor Tanya. Eh? That's okay. You know, they say, Tanya, some you win, some you lose. You know? Oh, Tanya. Yeah, it when I started drinking and using dope and that and a bit of Mandex here and there, dope mainly and alcohol, it was fun. It was good fun. And then I liked it. But in the end, it started liking me. It started liking me. It robbed me of half my life. Today, when every time I laugh or there's a success or I go and or I'm invited around the country or overseas to give a talk, it's just an amazing privilege. Okay, Desmond asks, why aren't the kingpins being bust, seeing as you have experience in the drug squad? Yes, I was in the drug squad. I'm not in the drug squad anymore.
Malema isn't being bust either.
Lema's not getting bust for his hate speech. I'm not in the drug squad. I left the drug squad in the 80s. So I'm not there to go out and catch the kingpins. It's got nothing to do with me. It's not my field. There's a police force, or meant to be a police force. There's no more South African Narcotic Bureau that I was in, that we specialized in drugs. We were the best, some of the best cops in the world when it came to drugs.
It was still a police force.
Yes, FBI used to come out to us and get tips from us how to catch people. Nowadays, I'm not a cop. The scope of Military Gents magazine, True Philip, they're dealing everywhere, but it's not our job. We don't go out and catch drug dealers.
You get rid of one drug dealer, another four come up.
Yes, it's not our job. Yeah, Richie used to say he's going to He's going there for the music, but he lied, and he says, I lied, and I went there for, you know what. Yeah, Richie, you see, Richie, you're tripping, eh? Richie, how's Joni? I think it's time that you came to visit the farm again. We haven't seen you in like 2-3 weeks.
Yes, we're going to have a nice, good time, sober party here over the silly season.
Mm.
When even the non-substance abusers get a bit silly.
Yeah. And enjoy life. It's lovely to enjoy life today. You know, when our kids don't realize that, and I try and educate every young person now, even my girlfriend's children are young. And I educate them, I try and educate them all the time. Don't. But at the end of the day, if they're going to pick up, they're going to pick up. Huh? If my daughter of 15 is going to go pick up drugs, she's not going to listen to me. I'm her dad.
Oof.
I'm her father. She's not going to listen to me. I didn't listen to my dad. And that's the scary part. I've spoken so much to my daughter and I can't speak anymore. If you're going to go play in the devil's workshop, expect to get the devil's answer.
Yeah, addiction is
Frida
hell on
says,
earth,
you rock the drug squad, Mr. Hall. Thank you, Frida. Thank you. Yeah,
Heard some stories.
yeah, and I believe I was dedicated then. I was passionate about it. I loved it. I thank you, Frida. Thank you. Anthony, did you hear we coming to the farm for the new year?
Yes, I invited
Oh, no,
everybody.
it's fine. You're all invited, huh? Farm's big enough, huh? Farm's big enough. You're all invited to come have a party. There'll be no drugs here, no alcohol, you know what I mean?
No trans body.
No transport. Bring your own and go drink in the street.
And the street's going to be full.
And the street's going to be full, yeah. So, hello, Michael. Okay, lekker, man. We're just going to be another 5 minutes with these lovely people on board here. But people, please, your children are vulnerable.
Oof.
Because every dealer that gets a child under his belt knows he's going to get stolen goods, knows he's going to get mommy and daddy's money, and knows he's got a benefit who will then influence another youngster.
Yeah, no, but it goes full circle. I remember us giving a talk once where half of the audience was people that were against drugs, but I'd sold them stolen items before. And
Yeah.
and we mentioned to them, like, it goes full circle, eh? So we're all talking about the drug dealers and all of that, but buying stolen goods from drug addicts and
Yeah. And one of the big ones in that is cash
crusaders,
Cash
and
crusaders.
cash converters.
Cash converters. They know that man coming in there with a 10,000 rand cell phone looking like he's just smoked 10 Zols or 10.
The cell phone weighs more than him.
The cell phone weighs more than him. They know who the addicts are. Because when they drive home, they see them at the robots. So when cash converters and cash crusaders buy it with someone else's ID, we know the score. No, Rene, I got the coffee. Tank's on a different roller, you know.
Definitely.
Tank's 15 months over today. He's like, wants to take over the house, you know what I mean? We're just looking for a girlfriend for Tanky. Tanky's single for a long time now, and he's no longer in the program. He works for us now.
That's a very good job.
Very good. Oh, brilliant, eh? Let's hope the novelty doesning wear off.
Taught by the best.
No, he was taught by you. Thank you very much.
Okay.
No, hardcore. Guy, give credit where it's due. You know what I mean? Okay, leave that. And good night, Nicole. Janita, God bless you. And yeah, so our message. Ja, dit geruk, Klatsie. Our message is, people, just as the people sitting in front of you fell to it. Yes, Renee, you can force an addict to go to rehab, but you have to go through the courts. Tanya says, my boys will get a warm clap if they came in with the attitude they never mind drugs. Lekker, Tanya.
Definitely.
Definitely. And check your children. There's nothing wrong with once a month drug testing your child.
It should be a normal thing
Yeah,
nowadays.
they should have drug education in school. But these days there's no schools because they're burning him down. Night order.
Sleep well oor hom.
Yeah. Yeah, Klatsie, you were forced to us, Luandre Lucas. Just tight.
Tyd, ja.
Yeah, Andre, sometimes it will not be any good, but sometimes it will be good if they are sent by the courts, because something may just click.
And it usually does, yeah.
It does,
after a month or two.
Yeah, when they just surrender. This is this rail. Our rail is run by addicts for addicts, and that's it. That's it. We'll teach you respect and discipline that you didn't have. You don't put your feet on my couch. You sit down orderly, everyone together, and have supper together, and you say grace first. And no one leaves that table until everyone has finished eating. When you go to the toilet, you make sure it's clean. When you've showered, you make sure that shower is clean. If your clothes are lying around, they're going to lie outside. Doesn't happen that way. If you use the TV in our community hall, and you're the last to go, you make sure you turn the lights off, you turn the TV off, and you make sure that place looks spotless, so when you walk in there tomorrow morning, it's spotless.
And so that when you leave here, it becomes normal to do that again.
That's what you're teaching them. You're teaching them a routine, so they're up at 6:30 every morning. So the routine will be, if they get home, they will do all that, do their devotions, do their prayers, and do a full day, that they'll be used to it when they go out, so they can get a job. So they can, because let's face it now, the youth of today are so bloody lazy.
Oof.
We see it every day. And after a while, they come right, huh? And they can hate it in the beginning, but they love the discipline in the end. They can't stand it in the beginning, but they love the discipline in the... We run this rehab the way my dad taught me what I must do in life that I never listened to. My dad is running this rehab remote control from heaven. Respect, manners, discipline.
Wow, Diana, that's pretty cool.
What's that?
My 11-year-old little girl listens to the live feed, and that's how I educate her on drugs. She even says, Mom, you're on a different level.
Hello, my girl. Hello, Diana's daughter. God bless you, my sister. And what you can do at 11 years old is that you can go and tell all your friends, and then mommies can listen, and daddies, and you can carry the message. Oh, you're too precious, my girl.
Awesome.
That's beautiful. You know, someone said the other day, they sent me a message that...
that is different level.
That is different level. That's like different level shit. You know what I mean? That's like another level. Hey, Tanky?
Yes, it's
There was someone, I can't remember her name, but I must look back, said that her daughter said, Mommy, we must bake fudge. She doesn't know me, because Uncle Anthony needs some money. He must donate for my money for my court case. So she said, the girl, she's 6 years old, made her make fudge.
Ah, cool,
Yeah,
man.
it was, I got that message. It was amazing. It was amazing. And that's how we teach our children. Because I think if we're more, that's so lovely, Diana, that if we're more open with our children,
For sure.
it's the better. When we start hiding it and we want to like ignore it and say, okay, it won't happen to my family. Let me tell you, it will happen to your family. I've had some of the richest men's children in my house. And they come in and they're lazy because they're used to butlers and all this kind of shit.
And even the guys that come in, there's highly qualified
Highly
people.
qualified people. But they've been taken like that. Taken. There's guys here who've run comrades marathons. And then they started the junk and just taken down. Look at that. Yeah, Veronica. Kurt is sweet.
Oh,
Oh, what cool.
thanks, Veronica.
Oh. But you're getting married soon, eh?
Yes, on the 28th of November.
Okay, hardcore. I'm not getting married, Kurt.
It will be the first time.
Okay. Oh, you're trying to take my inventory?
First time for me.
Diana, yes. That
hectic.
before and after picture, Kurt, is the groundbreaker that I use.
Ish.
That was the man when he came to me, dead. The only thing,
Just over 40 kilos.
Kurt,
Yeah.
the only difference, you were dead, but you hadn't been buried yet.
The living
That's
dead.
Living dead. Thank you, Diana, for doing that. Eh? Thank you.
And that's the point of the picture.
But I like people who don't take shit, because rather let the child hate you early or say, Mum, you this, or Daddy, you this, and save their lives.
They'll thank you at 21.
They'll thank you at 21. They won't have to go through what we went through. I don't wish my life on anyone, my first part of my life on anyone. on anyone. Thank you, Sandy.
Richie, always invited. Where do you want to go?
Yeah,
Where's our invite?
yeah. You know, Richie's had a new flat for about a year and he hasn't invited Kurt and I for supper once. You know, we even said...
We've only seen pictures.
Oh, he's in pictures. We don't even know if he's in the flat. He's probably sleeping in the car.
Thanks, Tanya. No place like home.
Yeah, Tanya. Tank!
Yes, sir.
Come speak here for a couple of minutes. I'm just going to show you Tank. I'll show you no Tank. Kurt and Tank will speak. I'm going to say cheerio. I'm going to go just check on my mom. And Tank's going to come speak with you for a bit. He's 15 months sober today. A miracle. A miracle. A miracle. God bless you, people. Tanky. You and Kurt can speak. Light the NC, Tank. You want some coffee, Tank?
No, I don't want
Come
to
make it yourself.
Okay, yes, thank
Okay,
you.
good evening, everyone.
Ryan Tank Engelke joined us 15 months ago. Came in also very good work ethic, had everything, and spiraled down a long road of probably what you also thought was a bit innocent, huh?
Yeah.
Trance parties. Did you have popcorn at trance parties?
Yeah, no, started taking acid and then the MD and then
Okay.
started with the acid and MD and then from there
What's MD?
MDNA and then from there
I thought you said managing director of the
So what is
trance party.
MDMA? Not everyone there is a drug addict like us, my brother.
yeah, so MDMA it's sort of like it's almost like it's a liquid form of ecstasy, a crystallized form of ecstasy, and yeah, the people use it obviously to put them on a bit of a rush, and it gives a bit of like a what do you call it? Not
It makes the
euphoric,
music sound better.
sound better, and that, yeah, and all your senses is heightened also a bit, and that like it overwhelms you in the beginning that
Good
you
night,
literally
Diane.
wanna
Thanks,
Yeah.
Sandy.
just stand there sometimes and be like, whew, this stuff is moving me. But yeah, no, from there obviously went from the MDMA and that to dealing at the parties, and then the cocaine, and then my life really took a turn for the worse, and that like when I got into the cocaine and the dealing part of it, mixing with the wrong crowds.
But that's how your morals and that go down, because I promised myself I would never smoke cigarettes. Then I promised myself I'd never smoke tobacco. Then I promised myself I'd never smoke buttons. Then I promised myself I'd never smoke crack or take ecstasy. And then when I looked again, it was the 3rd of January and I was 14 years old and I was chasing animals around Molnerton Mediclinic.
Yeah.
And, surely it must be some kind of a illness or something that was wrong with me, because I still done it again after that.
Yeah, I also had some of that experiences and that where thinking that I'm being shot with bazookas driving. This is on Dacha, just by the way.
Pure paranoia.
Yeah, pure paranoia, just Dacha. That I was driving around Voortrekker Road, funny enough actually, but ducking and diving, thinking that I'm getting shot with, like I said, rocket launchers and grenades is getting thrown at me. That's how Geruka was.
I've experienced that. I was on top of my mom's roof, telling her that the FBI is coming.
Yeah, no, I don't always like to talk about the insane things that our drugs took us to and that,
But sometimes pain was a motivating factor for our recovery, because if there wasn't consequences, then probably still be drugging.
yeah, I feel sometimes I like to say that, at that time the drugs made me feel happy, but the long-term effects, it killed me inside.
And what happened when the drugs wore off?
It started killing me.
And because we know we're guilty of something, that starts isolating us from our parents, our loved ones, the first people we look for that when we get to rehab. Now they matter. We've been drugging and catching on nonsense for the last 10, 15 years, but then eventually we haven't been worrying about them. And suddenly we are weak in rehab, and then we want mommy.
Yeah, 100%.
No, it doesn't work like that.
Yeah, that I worried in my first few weeks whether my mother knew where I was. And I cried that I wish my father never dropped me off here. But then 2-3 months later, I was crying that I wished he was here and why I wasn't getting phone calls and visits from him. The insane things with the drugs takes us to, and what it does to our emotions and our thoughts. breaks us.
It breaks us, and the dreams and all those things that we had. I don't think when you're in sub A or what it's grade 1 now, or the teacher usually goes around and it's like quite a jolly sort of moment when they say, "What do you want to be?" You probably said like a fireman or something,
Yeah, I
You
wanted
didn't
to be
say a drug addict.
I wanted to be a professional sportsman, baseball player and that. And funny enough, my mother reminded me the other day, I think it was with you, Mr. Schüler, when she said it here on a visiting day, that it was around 16, and if I tell my life story, it was around 16 when my life started going, a bit sideways and that, because of Dacha and so on. And my mother said, yeah, it was at that age that I told her, Mom, because you sold my car, I'm stopping sports and that. But it was my dream to be a professional baseball player. And the Dacha made me lazy. The Dacha changed my friends that I started hanging out with, and it changed like my views on life and what I wanted out of my life and that.
And your motives, yeah. But look at Richie. Richie got it all back again. That was his dream, to be a Springbok wrestler, and he became a Springbok wrestler, and then he became a... I don't want to say a qualified addict, because that's maybe not a nice way to put it. But drugs took him down. Drugs changed his dreams. It took his dreams away from him.
He was this far away from the Olympics.
And Richie actually became a Springbok wrestler after being here for just under 2 years, and his life became good again. And he was injured, otherwise he would have been in the Olympics for wrestling again. So that dreams that were given up on became reality for him again. That's the classic example of that. And we see it here, all the different promises of recovery happening between the guys here all the time. Graham's dream was to work on cars and things one day. He's now a qualified panel beater. When he was growing up, that's what he wanted to do. And we see it here all the time. But we've got a lovely opportunity here that most so-called normal or non-substance abusers don't have. That we're given the freedom, like Lincoln, at any time to go. We've been given the freedom to take a time out in life. Now, how many of you people watching would like a time out in life, reevaluate your situation, and maybe change your direction of life? I'm talking about from the way you brush your teeth, right through to your choice of career, and right through to the way that you respond to things and react to things and feel about things, and your way of living. I mean, Clutchy said it. 5 years ago, could you go to a New Year's without and have a jaw without dope and alcohol and
not at all? I remember
and drugs and so on.
Even Millennium, when I was 10 years old, I was having a Reds or two and getting gesype at that already. It was socially acceptable. It is socially acceptable everywhere these days, drinking and that. Even Dacha, and that's become socially acceptable.
Exactly, because it's legal.
Can I say something?
Yeah, you can say whatever you like.
I always, even being here and that, like something that really came to my heart and that it always gets me and that as well. And this is more for the parents as well that have younger children and that, coming 13, 14, 15 and that.
Yeah, it's difficult age in today's world.
Yeah, when I was still 13, 14 and that, I started getting naughty and stuff like that in my schoolwork and that. But one of the big things that my mother did also tell me that she started to notice when I got 13, 14, 15, I started to fall back in my schoolwork and that, and especially when the weed came at 16 and that, how lazy I became. No more homework, always in detention, always getting, written notes to my mother and that. And the Dacha took me, it started taking away, like I said, my dreams and that. And, like the first thing that, why I'm bringing up this point. Why was I bringing up this point? Okay, let me just rethink. We're just reading my thoughts.
But you're still unfrying.
Yeah, no, I'm still busy unfrying. A good couple of years still to go. Was that even with my school grades and that, like I was in competition up until like 15 years old with my cousin at school, getting A's and that at all my subjects. And as soon as the Dacha that came at 16, that my grades started lapsing, I was just passing every year and that. And it was one of the signs my mother said she sort of saw then as well, that something was starting to change in my life, like my behavioral patterns and work ethics, laziness, like I say, and that.
Sleep patterns,
and it's all because of the Dacha.
All that.
Starting off with marijuana.
and the problem that we have is that we almost think that it's normal teenage behavior. Possibly, maybe that's just what our parents were thinking. And but now we've got enough examples all around us. We've got real live recovery stories where, if we've got ages from the age of 18 right through to 68 here on the farm. So, surely a guy at the age of 18 that started out with dacha, started getting bad grades at school, maybe didn't finish school, started giving parents a hard time. Surely he can learn something from a 55-year-old man that has come out of Paulsmore that made the wrong choices, that has made a lot of mistakes and things like that. Because the biggest problem about me growing up is that I couldn't learn from anybody else's mistakes, and I was taught that over here, to learn from other people's mistakes. If we don't learn from other people's mistakes. And this is just not only in recovery, in general. If we don't learn from other people's mistakes, then history's going to repeat itself.
And also take responsibility for your own mistakes, which none of us like to do. Now, I've never taken responsibility for everything. Always blame shifted everything on my parents or those close to me and that. Never stood my own man for anything I've done. And it's the first time in literally 30 years of my life that I started taking responsibility for things that I did and mistakes that I made in my own life and that. And I think if more people started taking responsibility for their life.
Because a big part of it is growing up. And recovery happens over time, not overnight. Like earlier we mentioned the 3-week rehabs.
Yeah,
no comments.
No comments, yeah.
And over here we're standing for something, and we'll stand our ground for what works and what doesn't work, and we'll have our views and things like that. Because if the light bulb is working when you switch the switch on, then why change it?
So I'm just reading this comment. It's quite
Yeah, we can see it a little bit here. Better here. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, and that's what's happening, Lynn, is that it's because it's become socially acceptable, is that there's one parent telling another parent, oh, Johnny or Sally or whatever the child's name is he's just using dacha until he gets onto the next thing or gets diagnosed with something. And that's the way it is. And we see it all the time. But I think that I'm going to leave everybody with something tonight that is maybe, it is something for everybody. And with it being Sunday night, is that maybe, this is sort of close to bedtime for a lot of people. Maybe just go back and in your head tonight, maybe just make a gratitude list of 5 or 10 items, and realize if you're not affiliated with somebody that's in addiction or going through a hard time, or if you've had 3 meals today, that you are a lot more blessed than quite a big percentage of the country. And now
that I'm grateful to be able to look in this camera tonight and smile, see myself on the camera, because I've never even loved myself or liked myself. But today I can say by working this program, I love myself and I love what I'm seeing in this camera.
Wow.
Not being vain, just saying how I feel.
Hey, but we're just honest here. And
Definitely.
thanks, Lee J. That's if you want to help us reach more people, because in the bigger scheme of things, addiction is one of the biggest pandemics of the country, and in politics and to do with corruption and all of that. Then join RAEL Live Recovery Stories and see what we do with the orange ribbons, and to remove the stigma and things like that. Because if I was such a bad person that people would look down upon the way we do at the people at the robots, then why is there so many people watching? Why is there so many people saying that I'm not a bad person? Because I was a sick person. And I got the right help. And now I'm not so sick anymore. But we work on it every day. So yeah, definitely Tank. That's amazing. That's lekker. Well done on your 15 months.
Okay.
We've had our ups and downs, and like we say, we're willing to struggle with everybody. Tank didn't like me every day, but you know why he didn't like me? Because my truth was different to his truth at the time. But I'm obligated to tell him the truth, because the truth was carried to me by Mr. Hall, and that is what helped me to find happiness and helped me to love myself again, because I didn't like myself either. I didn't like shaving when I got here because I had to look in the mirror, otherwise I missed spots. And the more I done the program, like you said, Tank, the more I started getting my dignity back and respecting myself and others. So thank you all for watching. You can join RAEL Live Recovery Stories, RAEL Live Recovery Stories, and hopefully we'll get to see more of you, and we can get to know each other. Like I said, if there's any questions and things like that, Lee-J will leave the Live Recovery Stories link over there, and the different phone numbers to contact us. And this isn't a 9 to 5 job. Addiction doesn't stop at 5 o'clock. If anything, it escalates at 5 o'clock in the evening. So thank you all for joining us on this really blessed Sunday night, and we hope to see you in a lot more of our stories.
Yeah, no. Thank you everyone. Thank you very much. Good night, and I hope you all have a great evening and a week ahead. And yeah, hopefully my next meeting can actually be on my sobriety rate, the 18th of July. Which is my 1 year, and
1 year.
The 1 year, 18th of July, is the gift of desperation that I would like to give a meeting on soon. So yeah, hopefully you all stay tuned in, and I'll give you a bit of that.
That's the acronym for God.
Yep, definitely.
Because that's who we turn to when we're desperate.
Thank you everyone. Thanks for watching.